Hello everyone, it's Nova J here, and today I will be showing you how to make some basic and extremely easy terrain, along with some nature tips. Now a little backstory. Over my time in creative I practiced terrain until I had my own style. An early version of my terrain style is shown in my map Nova Royale, and has since gone on to inspire many of you to make terrain. So I thought it would be cool to show you how to make it. Now before we begin, thanks to everyone on screen, and everyone who I haven't shown, for using my creator code which is NovaJ. It's the best way to support me, and really shows that you like what I do. Anyway, back to today's tutorial. Here are the parts you need: this terrain corner piece, terrain floor piece, and terrain slope piece. Then the rocks you will be using. And then the trees and nature that you'll be using. First up, take the corner terrain piece and resize it so that it's as large as it can go. Once you've done that, to find the building level, place it down grid snap 1. This will always find you the build grid, which is really helpful. And now I'm making an outline for where some of my terrain will be. I prefer to use grid snap 8 or 16 when making terrain edges. Just make sure all the pieces are aligned. You'll see the piece go a light color when it's aligned with another piece. Now take a floor piece. As you can see, it doesn't match with our corner piece, so here's how to fix it. Size the floor piece up fully. Change to grid snap 32, and align the piece so that it's 2 snaps above our corner piece. This will let us lower the height so that it matches perfectly with the corner piece. Make sure the piece isn't too high or low, it should blend together. Now we can fill in our terrain. I'm finishing off my terrain area, and will show you how to do basic terrain elevation. And there we go, we have our base layer of terrain. I like to have multiple layers of terrain, so do the same as what we did before. Find build layer. Make our outline and fill it in. I made this layer of terrain, and purposely left a gap in the middle. This is where I'm going to put elevation so people can get up to this layer. The first thing you can do is place a slope. Widen the width so it fits in the space. And change the depth to how you prefer, and then make sure there's no gaps. You may need to adjust the terrain around it, and fill in spaces in the terrain, but this will allow people to run up the terrain, and it's really that easy. The other choice is to grab a corner piece, and connect 2 for them together like this. And now place ledges into the terrain to climb up. I also recommend doing this all over the terrain for easier accessibility, but don't go crazy. As you can see, I used both methods on this example I made. Keep practicing what I've already shown you and you'll be able to make stuff like this. Now before we continue, if you want to learn how to make mountains in this terrain style, head over to my channel and watch this mountain tutorial I made. So now I have some more detailed terrain. I've got a wide range of layers, and elevation to keep the terrain fun and interesting. Now I will show you how to decorate it with nature. Select your rocks and trees to your phone's toolbar. The first thing I do is decorate my terrain with rocks. Now you can place rocks like you usually do, but a tip I like to do is place rocks into the terrain edge. And to add extra texture to the terrain, add smaller pebble-sized rocks around it. This really makes your terrain look more realistic and rocky, whilst also being a good way for players to farm mats, or to simply decorate your map and make it stand out more. I like to do this all over, so here is a quick time lapse. Make sure to comment what other tutorials you want to see me make. I read every single comment, so don't feel afraid to ask. And here it is finished. I really do feel that this does add to the appearance of the terrain and really makes it look a lot more detailed. Next up I'll show you how to use trees on terrain, and some basic placement setups. First off are pine trees. I like to constantly change up the size of these trees wherever I have them, as it makes it look more natural. And along with this you can place the new tree stumps and logs from the cubed gallery. I like to do the same with these birch trees, mix up the size and sometimes have them placed in groups. You can also use these smaller version, but that's just a waste of memory in my opinion. And finally are the normal trees. These can either be placed alone or in groups. When you place them in groups, I like them to be close and barely touching like this. Also slightly change up the height of each one. Now take all of these tips, mix them together, and you will end up with some really cool looking nature that looks great with our terrain. And there it is. That's pretty much everything for this video. You learned basic terrain tips and tricks, along with nature tips and tricks. I hope this video was helpful, and if you did enjoy, consider subscribing. Until the next video, peace.